So ask user how many numbers to store, then print out the list in list form, and then one item per line. One sample run could look like it. So how many numbers would you like to store? So that's an input statement. So I'm going to say use a variable called number, and if I take input and say how many numbers would you like to store, and then add a space after that. Remember, inputs always take string form, and I need this to work as a number, so I have to change that into an integer. Now that I know how many, here is your list. Okay, it looks like it's going to, the numbers are going to be sequential from 1 to the number that they asked for. That's not clear in the question, but that's what I'm going to guess. So I'm going to now say, so for I in range, I'm going to need to create a list first. So num list, it's going to be an empty list. So now I'm going to create a loop for I in range, and I'm going to start at 1, and I'm going to go up to the number that they want to create. But if I do that, if I said they wanted 6, remember it's not going to execute the 6, so I'd have to go up to number plus 1. And now I'm going to append to my list. So, whoops, I'm going to take my list, which is called num list, and I'm going to append to that my I. So that would append the number 1 to it, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. 6 plus 1 is 7, so it'll go up to the 6. And so now I'm asked to print out, print, here is your list, and then I'm going to, beside that, put my actual list, list. So let me just run this and see if it's doing what I think it's supposed to do. How many numbers would you like to store? So I'm going to say 6. Here is your list. So this is looking good so far. And then we need one item per line. So now I'm going to say, here is your list, one item per line. And now what I need to do is I need to iterate through the list. So I'm going to go for I in range. I know it starts at 1. And the problem is I don't know how long that list is. So I could either go up to the number, right? Go up to number plus 1, number plus 1 again. That should work. And I'm going to print my list name, num list. And in order to grab an individual item in that list, I use the square bracket. And I'm going to grab, oh, it's going to be an error. Whoops. Num. All right. If I do this, this is going to generate an error. Let's just see. Okay. And that's because we have to remember that this item there is actually located in the 0th position. So I need to go starting at the 0th position, because notice how it went 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 instead of 1, 2, 3, sorry, it went 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It didn't do the 1. And that's because I was starting at the 1st position, not the 0th position. If I try this again, it's still going to generate an error, but I'm getting a little bit closer. So I start at the 1. The problem is because this is the 0th item, this is actually the 5th item, and this is going up to 6 plus 1 is 7, so it's actually going to create a 6th position, but there is no 6th position, there's only a 5th position. So I need to go from 0 to number. If I run that, that should work. Great. But another way, suppose somehow we'd lost the input of how many were in that in the list. What I could do instead is I could also go to the length of my list. Maybe somewhere else in my program I've effected change to that list, I've deleted something to the list, or I've added more to it. By going to the length of that list, that's always going to work. Whoops. Name num list is not defined. Oh, num with a B. Okay, so both programs work.